Welcome to The Potential, a show where we talk about what is possible for your career and in the design industry. Today, we are going to talk about surviving layoffs.
So, how did you feel when you first got laid off? What did you tell your friends and family?
Oh man. Okay, when I first got laid off, I was in full on shock. I was so shut down. I was so confused. So, here was the situation. I worked at this small company, and my co-founders asked me to go out to breakfast. I went out to breakfast with them, totally normal thing to do. And then before our food even arrived, they hand me this piece of paper that is like you're laid off and you need to
The,
sign this.
they just gave you a piece of paper?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It was so confusing. And like a minute later, my food got there and I was just like, I don't know what to do with this. So I just walked out with this piece of paper and was just like carrying a piece of paper down the street, just totally in shock.
Yeah,
And
wow.
yeah, it was ridiculous. And to your question about what I told my friends and family, I wasn't even able to think about other human beings because I was so just like in shock over it. But the best thing ever happened. I ran into one of my friends just on the street as I was walking,
Oh,
and
wow.
she stopped me because I didn't even see her. I was like, gonna walk by her, and she was like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Oh, so you look,
And I was like,
you visually, she could tell.
"Yeah, yeah." I apparently like looked completely like glassy eyed, like just totally in shock. And I was like, hey, I, no." So I told her what had happened, and she was immediately like, wait, what? Talk to a lawyer.
Oh,
So it was really nice actually to tell friends and family. And if I were to be laid off again, I think I would immediately reach out to people because I wouldn't have known what to do. I think it would have taken me a long time to process it if I hadn't had other people supporting me and kind of helping me think through things. So it was definitely shock and then straight through into, okay, maybe there's something I can do about this. How about you? What like emotional stages did you go through?
oh man. I mean, definitely shock for sure, just like you. But mine was during the recession in 2009. So there's a lot of things happening already. But when they finally called me in to talk about it, the head of the department was there, the HR was there. They just told me what's going on. They gave me some paperwork to sign. They gave me some options to like either move to Nashville or take severance. And yeah, taking the severance made a lot of sense. And then I was still working for a month or two until the actual layoff happened. And during that time, they just told us, hey, spend that time looking for jobs. But this is the recession. There's nothing out there really. This is my second job out of college. So, not knowing everything, I was just trying to look for jobs unsuccessfully. The layoffs actually happened. And I think during that time, it was a little bit of denial. Like, okay, I'll find a job. Everything will be fine. But once the last day of work happened, I was pretty sad for about a month. I think I just kind of holed up in my apartment. I kept looking for jobs. I was able to get a freelance gig, and I was working on that a little bit. But the yeah, my roommates they were pretty worried because I didn't come out of my room for a long time. I was in there just looking for jobs, even though I couldn't find anything. But yeah, the emotions that I felt were just a lot of sadness and then scary unknown, the scared of the unknown. How about you?
That
What did you
sounds
go through?
so discouraging and like so intense. You just like being alone in your room and trying to apply for jobs and figure out what's next.
How did you,
That's wild.
how did you get through it?
You know, I in some ways I feel like I never did. And I think this is true for a lot of people. It's like that sense of getting laid off once, it kind of haunts you forever and you just never want it to happen again. I feel like I never really made my peace with it. It doesn't bother me that much day to day, but it's still kind of always in the back of my mind. And so I think for me, I didn't really feel okay again for like a year.
Wow.
And by that point, I had found a job, I was doing something else, but I just still felt this sense of just constant low level uncertainty about what had happened. And none of my friends had gotten laid off. And so I didn't really have anyone else who could kind of explain to me how it felt or how to go through it in a healthy way. And that was really tough. I feel like if I could help my younger self,
Yeah.
I would have so much more knowledge to impart, you know? Like I would do it
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah. I mean, having to deal with it by yourself must have been pretty tough.
Did you know anyone else who got laid off?
I do. Yeah. Half my team got laid off. There was some confusion a little bit in my mind, but what did half the team get cut and the other half didn't? It was a little bit broken out by seniority, more or less. So, but at the same time, I was doing similar work to everybody else. But I guess there was a little bit of comfort knowing that, okay, the people who've been there for longer than I have got to stay. But then the people that got let go, we were, we didn't, did we support each other? I must have not talked to them
That's so interesting. I mean, I think
because
it points to like how isolating it is to get laid off. It's this scary, isolating experience.
it is super isolating. I only remember being by myself. I told my parents and I told like my friends and stuff like that too, my network, to try to get a job, but I don't remember talking to the other people that got laid off. Part of it, I think must have because we were all friends. I still talk to them, to most of them to this day, but the part of it I think is like that time was a little bit of a blur in terms of just so much confusion, so much things going in your mind that I don't remember who I talked to.
Totally. Did you have any wins along the way? Just things that were turning points for you or things went right and it like helped you kind of get through it emotionally?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. For me, that just month living in my cave, and coming out of it, it was I think it was more out of boredom. Like I got to get out there. I got to do something. This what I'm doing isn't working. And there's a couple of things that I did at the time. I was doing this artist in residence kind of thing and living in an art space. Nearby, there was a fashion photographer. I was always curious about fashion, and so I just walked into his studio, and I was like, "Hey, is there something I can do to help out?" And he gave me a broom. He's like, "Hey, can you sweep the cyc? It's that infinity wall photography backdrop thing." He's like, "Hey, yeah, you can paint it." So I painted the whole cyc white, and he gave me I don't know, like 20-40 bucks at the end of the day, and he's like, "Hey, come back tomorrow if you want." So I go
Wait, I
home
have
and
a
I'm like,
question about that.
"Yeah, yeah,
Did that feel did that feel good or were you like, "Oh man, I'm a professional and here I am sweeping." How did that feel
yeah."
to do that?
No, I didn't care at all that I was sweeping because after a month of not doing anything except sitting in front of my computer looking for jobs that didn't pan out, it was something new. Also, it was a fashion photography thing that looked interesting. And actually, I remember the word psych because it was a word that I never heard of. So when he's like, "Yeah, you can sweep the psych," I was like, "Oh, what's a psych?" So that word for me, I just remember it because it's like, "Oh, I'm learning something new." And so already I was pretty excited about what was going on. I mean, I didn't think it was beneath me to sweep or paint or anything like that.
What I love about what you just shared is you learned something new and you did something outside of your comfort zone and something that you'd like never done before in a space you were interested in. So you pushed yourself into this new situation that you wouldn't have been in otherwise, and that helped you move through the process of getting laid off. It's super, super smart. I'm guessing you didn't do that intentionally.
No, well, the walking in part was intentional, but then I think it just opening that door to his studio just worked out. Because he could have easily said, "No, I don't have anything. Like, get out of here." But I was pretty fortunate. He's like, "Yeah, here's something I don't want to do, but maybe you want to do." And I'm like, "Sure." And then where I really lucked out there too was the next day I came back to help out again, but I printed out my resume, and he looks at my resume and he goes, "Oh, you're legit," because I went to a good school and I had regular 9 to 5 jobs and stuff. And he gave me the keys to his studio right then and there. and said like, you can be my studio manager. I'm like, I don't know what that entails, but okay. So
That is amazing.
I got to do that for a little bit.
That's amazing. That's such a huge win. I'm trying to think if I had a similar moment. I did actually. I
Okay.
did actually have a really similar moment. Okay, so you just reminded me of this. I reached this point of similar boredom. I was just like, what am I even doing with my life? I'm so shut down. I'm just in my, I liked how you called it in my cave. I'm just in my cave. And so I left the house. I was walking around. I caught up with some friends, and then I ran into someone, and I was telling her like, "Oh, I'm between jobs." And she was like, "Oh, what do you do again?" And I just was like, I do all this different stuff." And she was like, "Oh, my firm actually needs a freelancer for
Oh,
this like big
nice.
contract we just got." And so I took this super rad job just freelancing for this agency. And I didn't even know they existed. I didn't even realize that this woman I knew worked there, but I just happened to start telling people what was going on with me. And that job was so fun. And it really just helped me have a win and turn the corner on feeling like I couldn't do anything.
Wow. Did you tell a bunch of people and then it happened that she had something going on, or was it just you opened up and then like boom, it worked out right away?
It's such a great question. It honestly was, I just opened up and boom. Because before that, I had kind of been hustling. I'd just been like, oh, like, do you know of any jobs? I really need a job. And like, no one had anything. But the second I was like, let me just go out in the world and see what happens and just talk to people, that was the moment.
Wow. You know what? That reminded me. I had one other big win also. I was also interested in video games at the time. So I found a video game conference that was only for CEOs of video game companies, and it was $5,000 to go. But I had a pseudo blog that I hadn't updated in a long time. Like I was calling it a magazine. And so I wrote to them and I was like, can I write about it? And then they said, sure. So I got a free pass to this video game conference. And I met a video game research CEO there, sort of like a startup. And I met with him, talked to him about what I did, and I got to consult for a couple days out of the week. I learned a lot about the video game industry, and I connected with someone that gave me this opportunity. So that worked out really well.
That is wild. Just that you asked to go to a $5,000 event and people said yes to you. That's amazing.
And during a recession too, I was like, who has 5,000 bucks? But yeah, it worked out. It's pretty fortunate. How about you? Looking back, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self about the emotional side of being laid off?
Yeah, that is such a good question. I think I wasn't nice to myself. And that was thing number one, is just be patient with yourself. I just was like, well, I have to be okay. And if I'm not okay, then I'm terrible. And there was no gray area, and I couldn't figure out how to get out of that cycle of being really lost and disappointed in myself. I just tried to like white knuckle it, and like get through it on my own. And then I think the last thing that I really wish my younger self had known about this is get to that place of being open and just try it out. I You don't have to do it all the time. You don't have to go out in the world and be open every day, but just like baby steps, try to be open to what's possible and explore what's possible, because really those are the turning point moments. Those are the moments where you get wins, where you get out of it, where you find your next steps and you find your footing again. How about you? What advice would you give to like young Co on how to get through the emotional side of being laid off?
Oh man, I think the first one is definitely recognizing that a bad thing has happened. I think my immediate reaction was to just go try to find a new job. And in that environment, I couldn't. And I don't think I needed to, and I shouldn't have. And I think the second advice would be to lean in on that creative side and do things that you've wanted to try or wanted to do and explore a bunch of different things that you can do. I think looking back, it took me a month to get over it, but I didn't have to just stay in my cave. I could have gone out and seeing where the world led me to. I think that mental state is hard to get to. So I want to definitely recognize that too, that it's not just, okay, I'm just going to go do things and forget about it. But when you're ready, have fun, literally have fun, and explore things. And then the last advice I would give is, looking back, I wish I would have stayed unemployed a few months longer to be able to learn more about fashion, learn more about video game industry, and learn more about a bunch of other things. Because I feel like a job is always going to be there at some point in the future. You can always get back into it. But this time of freedom isn't always going to be there. Because
That
I
is
mean,
such great advice. I mean, going through my own unemployment, I felt like it was endless. I felt like I was
mm,
never going to get a job again. But you're totally right. Looking back on it, I could have enjoyed it more. I could have had more fun. I could have explored more. And I didn't give myself permission to do that because I just needed to find that next job. So that's such amazing advice. People call it fun employment as a joke, but honestly, if you can have fun in creative ways and exploratory ways and thinking about what you want to do next, that's a gift, right? To be able to do that.
if you gave yourself this advice about exploring other things, would you have a tough time doing that, or would there be some obstacles to doing that?
It's a great question. And it's funny that you ask because looking back on it, I did do some exploration. I started screen printing and I made all these prints and I sold them. And then I put up a website to try and sell some stuff that I had sitting around. And then I also started doing photography. So I started taking pictures of bands and
Oh,
taking
that's
pictures of my
awesome.
friends at events. So I did all this exploration. But here's the thing I got wrong. I wasn't having fun with it. I was trying to turn everything into a career move. So I was
Mm.
like, well, I got to get really good at screen printing and like try and sell stuff, but like, oh, I don't know, it's not going that well. And I want to get really good at photography and then I'm going to be an event photographer, but I just started, it's going okay. I just had this expectation that I was going to take a next step directly into a career instead of enjoying doing exploration and creative work. And I think that's what I love about what you shared is you were just willing to step into these things and kind of see what happened. And I wish that I had done a little bit more of that. You know what I mean?
I think that's a great nuanced difference. I wasn't gonna be a fashion photographer, but it was super fun, and the things that I learned there, I've definitely used in my career too. So
I feel like that's kind of the big takeaway for me is one of the things we know where we are now in our careers is there will be another job. And
yeah,
you really only get that confidence when you've switched jobs a bunch of times, when you've kind of changed direction on your career a few times. You start to realize that you're competent, you have the skills that are valuable, and you'll find something. When you're early in career, you just don't have that belief. And so everything feels more tenuous. So that's another one, actually, as we're talking, I would pass that along to my younger self too.
hey, that was really great conversation about layoffs, and it's really interesting to hear how you went through it too. Pretty different than mine, but I think there's a lot of takeaways to where we definitely learned stuff along the way. We're gonna talk more about layoffs in the coming episodes, so stay tuned for that.